Last time the Oklahoma Sooners put up 90-plus points, they got wins. In fact, 3 of their 4 SEC wins are under that same category. Their latest victim, the Auburn Tigers. They put up 91 points in that game and a 91-78 win for the Sooners. Another crushing loss for the Auburn Tigers as it relates to their NCAA Tournament hopes. We'll see how it all shakes out here on Southeast Sports Plus. I'm Gerhard Mathangani, joined by Patrick Walsh. Patrick, we both had this game yesterday. There was 3 games on the slate. We were pretty much in consensus here. After Auburn knocked off Kentucky, we thought, okay, well, this Auburn team, they were really, really close for a while. Seemed to get over the hump after losing 6 games in a row. Knocked off Kentucky. How far back does this push them, in your opinion?
Yeah, I don't know, because this goes down as a quad 1 loss for Auburn, but it really doesn't feel like a quad 1 loss, kind of like losing to Florida might feel like.
Right.
This more so feels almost like a quad 3 loss at this point, just because you seem to have figured something out against Kentucky, but now you take another step back against Oklahoma. We'll talk about the Auburn side here in a minute, but this team for Oklahoma, I feel like they're starting to play a little bit inspired. They're playing for their coach here, and you and I have both been talking about what's the status of Porter Moser's future.
Right.
And I think one guy that's kind of putting basically his head coach and the team on his back right now is Nigel Pack.
Yeah, 22 points in the game yesterday. Mohamed Wague added 18 points as well. But you mentioned it, this team feels like it. And we've been talking about this for a while, both just you and I, and then when we talk with Brian Brinkley and with Holden Kruzmark, that this team has not given up in the same way. And I'm not saying that South Carolina has given up. I'm just saying that it looks different than South Carolina and Oklahoma. It looks like this Oklahoma team is still playing with a lot of passion, a lot of pride for their coach. And it seemed like yesterday they were able to put it all together. But you mentioned Nigel Pack. Is he going to be the best player in the SEC? No. But it feels like on any given night, he has this kind of capability to play with the best in the league.
Right, and I think this is why Porter Moser and Oklahoma went out and got him from Miami. Obviously, he's played in the Final Four before when the Hurricanes made a run there with Jim Larrañaga. This stat line is why they went out and got him. The problem has been he can't do this every single night, and that's basically been his downfall in the SEC. When he's on, he can be up there with the Darius Acuffs and some of the other great guards in this conference. The problem is, like a lot of players, it's almost like golf, where everyone at the pro level, everyone's good is good, but how bad is your bad?
Yeah.
And the bad for Nigel Pack is anywhere from 0 to 5 points. The good is SEC Player of the Year caliber type guard. It's just more often than not this year, it's been the bad rather than the good.
Yeah, it's all about when you get these games and can you get the supporting cast. He had the supporting cast yesterday. Mohamed Wague had 18 points there in that one. I feel like whenever Wague is, I know he was at your alma mater at West Virginia. He played at Alabama. He's bounced around in college basketball. I feel like his highs are pretty high. It just you don't get that consistent effort, especially putting the ball through the basket.
Yeah, and that's been his downfall, so to speak. I mean, going back to his time at West Virginia, I believe it was around 3 years ago. It was the last time the Mountaineers made the tournament.
Right.
He was the backup center to Jimmy Bell, who eventually transferred to Mississippi State and also played in the SEC. And I know he flirted around with the idea of playing football as well. But the biggest problem for Mo Wague was his just inability to stay on the floor. It almost felt like you could basically pencil in 10 minutes into the game, he's sitting on the bench because he's already in foul trouble.
Right.
And that has been the one Achilles heel for him throughout his entire college career. He has all the talent in the world, but a lot of similarities to Nigel Pack. The goods are really good.
Yeah.
But it's just more often than not, it's the bad that shows up. He could have a really good night last night, and I don't remember who they played this weekend. I believe it's LSU.
This upcoming Saturday.
This upcoming Saturday.
Right.
Against LSU. He might just follow it up with a dud.
Yeah, and that's kind of been his track record so far this season. I mentioned the last 3 times they've scored 90-plus points. They've been able to get the wins. Vandy, Georgia, and then, of course, the Auburn Tigers. That is Oklahoma. It does seem like this offense has found a little something. We got a chance to hear from the Sooners head coach, Porter Moser, after the game.
Man, I tell you, some were just so high arcing, and then when it went in, it just had such backspin, it just kind of stuck in there. It didn't even hit the rim. Just an elite shooter. Very like, I don't know what the stat is. You guys probably do of how many people have hit 400 threes in their career. 30. It's more than I thought.
He's up to 20. He's ranked 26 now.
Yeah, that's just a lot of threes. I mean, and there's just one thing. I say this: it's one thing to shoot the ball, but it's another thing to shoot the ball when you're on everybody's scouting report. Is take away the threes, and that's how good a quick and deep release he has. Life lessons for Jaydon, man. He battled injuries. We got him back, and then he was kind of struggling a little bit, and he found his voice. And it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy for him, just talking to himself, talking in the thing, and I got a sign in my office. It says, "How you think is how you feel. How you feel is how you act, and how you act defines you." And I said, Jaydon, you just got to start by how you think every day, man. Win the day, and he has found his voice on this team, and he's really helped. Him and Dayton also has helped us so much, give us some depth in these last 6 games.
I'm not saying he's a philosopher or anything, but I did like the quote about thinking and feeling and acting. It does feel like he has tapped into his players from a certain emotional level where they still play for him, which begs the question, are these popcorn style wins that he's collecting here towards the end of the season, are they enough to let him stick around for another year in Norman?
I think he gets another year.
Yeah.
And I really do. Partially because of this late stretch that he's been on. But at the same time, I mean, we had Brian Brinkley on earlier this week, and he talked about all of these other guys that they had.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, they're all pretty good right now, but they're on different teams.
Yes.
So if they had him still, this team could have been really good. And I truly do feel like Porter Moser is really, really good at recruiting.
Yes.
It's just, I don't think the time is right now. And he's really started to coach his way back into being the head coach next year. I think there's 2 coaches in this league right now that are on the hot seat right now that have earned themselves an additional year. One of them is because of their coaching ability, and that's Porter Moser.
Yeah.
The other is because of their agent in Lamont Paris.
Yeah.
And I just don't think South Carolina can take that buyout right now. There's only one coach that I could truly see at least guaranteed to be gone after this year, and that's Matt McMahon. I think LSU is going to go in a different direction after this year.
Right, absolutely.
But I feel like Porter Moser over these last few games, it really started with the Vanderbilt win, and then another dominating win. The offense is there, so that just tells me he's been able to do it before. I think he gets one more year.
Yeah, I think so too. Unless it's just a complete embarrassment and a disaster towards the end.
Yeah.
I know they have a few games left, but if they're able to pull off a couple of more wins, I think he's safe there as well. Speaking of coaching, we talked about coaching with the Auburn Tigers going into this year. The big story, obviously, Bruce Pearl resigning. The second big story is who do they get next? So they got an assistant coach who happens to have the last name Pearl, and Stephen Pearl. Yeah. And Stephen Pearl and company, they've had some ups, they've had some downs so far this year. It felt like I said at the top of the segment, it felt like the Kentucky win was getting over the hump, and then now they could feel more relaxed about their NCAA tournament hopes and possibly having some success. It does feel like it's 2 steps forward and 3 steps back.
Yeah, it just, this one I didn't really see coming. I mean, to be honest with you, I did not see that this loss was coming. I did say yesterday that one road team would pull off the upset. Right. I did get that one right in Missouri, one home team pulling off the upset.
Yeah.
Missouri did end up beating Tennessee, but I didn't expect us to have 2 home teams pulling off the upset.
Yeah.
But it's just, when you take a look at some of these losses, the last 3 losses, teams have lit them up from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
I mean, when you shoot 68% from three-point, that's out of this world. Just after Mississippi State team where Josh Hubbard went nuclear on you, and then Arkansas where Darius Acuff went nuclear. Is this just pure coincidence, or is this just a team that cannot defend the three-pointer at all?
Yeah, and I went to the SEC stats, to look at that to see if this was just something in a bottle. But no, this has been an all-year occurrence, even in the non-con. And so in the non-conference action, it kind of was the canary in the coal mine that, hey, Auburn has some issues here defensively, and I don't know if it's just positioning. I don't know if it's just losing your guy. I don't know if it is just a mismatch.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me that average teams shoot the lights out against this Auburn team in a clip that you don't normally see. So it makes it look like there are some huge deficiencies with what Auburn's trying to do defensively from a schematic standpoint.
I'm going to go back to this graphic again. What is Nigel Pack? A guard.
Yeah.
What is Josh Hubbard? A guard. What is Darius Acuff? A guard. Who's also a guard?
Yeah.
Pettiford.
That's right.
And we've been talking about him all year. He was expected to take on that more of a leadership role this season. Obviously, bringing back the experience from that Final Four run last year. But I mean, this has been just I don't even know what to put into what words to describe the season. It's just been very underwhelming.
It's been an odd year because we've heard it would be different if we didn't hear kind of number one rumors, but then also two, you heard Stephen Pearl in certain press conferences. He would try to mask it, but he would try to talk like he's talking big picture, but he's really talking specifically about Gerhard Pettiford. Benched him a couple of times. He seemed to respond in the moment. And it just feels like it's been this up and down. He hasn't been available from what we've seen when Auburn, lets players talk to the media. Hasn't been available much this season. It just feels like whenever you need your star to step up, he just hasn't been the guy. That is, to me, probably the most concerning thing on the floor with this team. And as you mentioned, the domino effect of that being the fact they allow so many three-point shooters.
It shouldn't take you getting benched to get your mind right
for sure.
and be able to be a leader for this team and have some really good games. I know he had the nice stretch against Alabama. I think in a 2-game stretch here a few weeks ago, he was averaging like 26 points per game.
Yes.
But since then, it seems like he took that step back, and it just makes you wonder, is this really the guy that flirted with the NBA draft last year and ended up coming back, and it felt like a win? It almost feels kind of like a loss in a way.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we were talking about, I think one of our preseason things about Auburn that we were talking about was this team goes as far as Gerhard Pettiford takes them. And right now, Gerhard Pettiford isn't the one taking them anywhere. It's Keyshawn Hall.
Yeah, and you see leadership all around. You saw it with the Auburn Tigers last year. It was Janai Broome last year. Before that, it was guys like Jabari Walker, guys like Walker Kessler. You need your stars to step up, especially when there's a new head coach.
Right.
You need the coach on the floor to really step up. We see that at Alabama. A guy like LeBaron Philon pulls his name out of the draft. He does what his coach says, and we're seeing what has become of it. He might be a lottery pick, and the complete opposite there with Gerhard Pettiford. We'll dive much more into what this means for Auburn's future in the NCAA tournament